Alright, so these are the equations that I started with, and I'm just going to explain how I got here for the Module 3 discussion-based assignment. I am only allowed to use 18, 2, 4, and 3 in order, but I can use the order of operations that are right here, and I can also use a 2 and a 3 if I really needed to. So, let's first decide how I got to 21. So, 21, I already did the problem here, but I previously had some parentheses right over here when I realized that I didn't really need it, but my sloppy handwriting looks kind of weird, so I'll just redo it. So 18 and 2 is something that we had to go look at for something that was because these numbers I have to do in order. So I realized that 18 and 2, if I just added them like I did before, that I would get really close to 20. So, and then the next numbers that I had to use in order were 4 and 3. So, in order to get 21, I had to have a 1 added to here. So, 4 minus 3 would equal 1. And then I just added those together, and then I got my number that I needed to get first, which was 21. So that's how I ended up with the equation 18 plus 2 plus 4 minus 3. Alright, next we're going to go to 67. Now 67 is a prime number. So I noticed that I couldn't multiply or divide here because it wouldn't get me anywhere that I needed to for 67. So I just went ahead and kind of guessed. So I guessed that if I did 18 minus 2, I would get 16. And I knew that 4 was next. So I knew that if I multiplied 16 times 4, let's go up here, 16 times 4, it would get me to 64, which was really close to the number 67. So I went ahead and added that. And then my next number that I needed to use was 3. So here, let me get a separation because we no longer need this box. I knew that if I could get to 64, 67, there's a 3 unit difference, so I went ahead and just added 3. And then that's how I got 18 minus 2, 4 plus 3. And I went ahead and put it in parentheses so that we can do this first, because if we didn't do this first and we just went ahead and plus 4 plus 3, then it just wouldn't really get us the number that we needed, you know? And we also had to get 18 minus 2 times 4, and it would usually just be, if we didn't do this first in parentheses, then we would have to go with the order of operations, which would be multiplication. Sorry, I'm kind of just blabbering. And we would end up with 2 and 4 in multiplication, and then we'd have to subtract that from 18. So it'd be 18 minus 8, and then that would be 10 plus 3, 13, which wouldn't get us to 67. So that is why we need the parentheses. So finally, 16 times 4, I don't know why we have a plus there, times 4 plus 3, which would get us 67. Alright, moving on to negative 6. Now negative 6 was a tricky number, but I knew that if we wanted to stay in 18, 2, 4, 3 in order, we had to downsize to get to negative 6. So I decided that we should maybe try and divide. So I divided 18 minus 2, and I got 9. And I was like, okay, so that's kind of downsizing a lot. But we kind of needed to go, maybe in order to get to 6, negative 6, we had to go 15 more. So what I decided was to have 4 minus 3 as an outcome. Actually, 4 times 3, excuse me. Because that got us to 12. And then I subtracted it. 9 minus 12. And then that would equal negative 3. But we also have to subtract that. And this is where I use the 3 from my toolbox. So I use that 3 right over here. So 9 minus 12 minus 3. Okay, and so that got me to -6. I think it must have been a mistake here. I don't. That is supposed to be here, and that is supposed to be here, and then -3, and that got me to -6. Okay. Okay. And so, let's see, the number that we needed next was 103. So, hopefully I'm not getting too sloppy, and it looks like I can keep up. But, 103, 18, 2 plus 4. Okay, so I knew that I needed to get to a pretty large number when it came to here. So I had to kind of experiment with what I needed to multiply. I knew that I had to multiply 18 because that was a number that I needed to get to 100, at least somewhere around 100. And something also to add is that 103 is a prime number, so I knew that I had to subtract or like maybe even add something to get to 103. So I need to get to a number that is at least close to 103. So what I found that if I stayed in the range of in order to keep, I knew that maybe I had to multiply 18 plus, or I knew that I had to have like, okay, so 18, and I knew 2 and 4 had to be in the parentheses, but if I subtracted it, then I would get a negative number, and I would be on the opposite end of where I needed to be. So I just went ahead and added, which got me to 18 times 6, which ended up with, 18 times 6, 8, 4, 1 times 6, 6 plus 4, 108. 108. Pretty close to 103, right? And so the number that we needed next was 3. And so I didn't know how to get 108 minus 103. That is a 5-unit difference. And so I knew that 3, and if I could use the toolbox, then I would use 2. So I would just have 3 plus 2, which would be 5. So minus 5, which would get me to 108. And using the order of operations, 18 plus 2 plus 4 minus 3 plus 2 gets me to 103. And that's how, yeah, that's basically my video. Hopefully I didn't scrubbish along too much.